Hey all, welcome to the first Color of Positive Thought podcast. Today is episode 1. Harry, thank you for having me host the initial episode. Samaj, thanks for being here as well. Today we're going to cover the topic of the episode is like father, like son, right? We have Color of Positive Thought CEO, founder, Harry Bell, and we have his son Samaj here. Tonight I just want to get in just a little bit of how Samaj fell in the shadow of his father, right? And how that impacted both of their lives, right? We know that Harry took a major change in his life and just focused on positive, right? And that's how you came up with the color book, Color of Positive Thought here. And Samaj had the I want to say shadow of living in that, right? And trying to remain positive and making the best of his own life while carving his own path behind you, right? So you have any initial words or things you want to say on the beginning and the start of this podcast here?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for taking the time out to host this episode. The first episode really means a lot to me because, I'm going to answer all the questions that's been chattering around the city regarding myself and my son relationship due to me being this way and he's being that way.
Okay.
And hopefully we can, get to the bottom of some things and work some things out through a father and son discussion, which can help others that probably going through certain things that me and my son had to overcome.
Okay. All right. So with that being said, Harry, when you think about it, right, and how you want yourself to be seen or the image you live in once you had that turning point in your life, right? And I take it Samaj was here already. He was born already once you had that knowledge of self and that idea to move in a positive direction. Tell me a little bit about that and what came of that for you.
So, Samaj was born through the grind. Mm-hmm. The beginning of Samaj's life, I was still finding myself. I was young. I had him at, 19 years old. I was still playing in the streets, getting drunk, just doing stuff that, that a father shouldn't do who about to have a little one that he want to look up to him. Mm-hmm. I think, I still remain that same lost kid, young man, and probably to the age of maybe 25. Mm-hmm. I think, my son probably was 5 or 6 when I really said, them games got to stop because at the end of the day, I'm raising a son who I want to imitate me. Mm-hmm. And I don't want him to imitate me in a negative way. So from the time he was 6, I made it my duty to live life for him and be an image of positivity for him.
Okay, good. Now, Samaj is your oldest?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So, being your firstborn, right? And you had that idea, hold on, man, I gotta make these changes. I gotta shape these things for the better, right? And you say about 6 years old, that's when you locked in and said, this is the route I would like to take, and this is the direction I'm going. And how did the coloring book incorporate into that part?
I just wanted to do something actually for Samaj that my father never did for me. I wanted something special. I come from a broken home. Right. I left my home at 16 years old and had to strive from 16 until today at 42. Okay. So, that coloring book was sketches that I used to create when I was probably 18 years old to escape some of the madness that I was going through. So, sometime when I was sketching, I thought I was in Hawaii, It just took me somewhere until I started hearing the gunshots out the window.
Yeah, and then it brought you back. You was like, boom, I'm here.
Real quick.
Trumbull Gardens,
yes.
The Terrace, I should say. Yes. This is where I am in reality setting.
Yes.
With that though, and using that same analogy, how does that relate to you creating the coloring book, going through situations for yourself and having Maj there, right? Getting lost in the coloring book and the positive stuff, but having that reality set in when you go home and see Maj or things of that nature.
I just wanted to be a positive image of a father and a black man at his home base, because I know once he leave home, there's nothing but negativity.
Right.
Like, I already knew, one of the first things he could do is be hard-headed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You
Because that was his life.
Right.
So at home, I wanted to show him something different. I was a big fan of like the black reality shows with the fathers from what's his name, Phil, and stuff like that.
Okay.
And I wanted to show that in my house. Mm-hmm. And I thought by doing that, it can be a positive image he's seeing, and he could just hold the torch when I hand it back.
That's interesting. Maj, you hearing that, right? And you hearing his idea of, I want to be positive. I want to show him positive. As you got older, how did that impact you? That forced positivity, right? You got forced positivity at home, but then when you leave the house, you're over here. You're on the north end, right? You're on the north end. You know what comes with that, right? How did that impact you, and how did that shape you?
I mean, like, it was kind of like a little hard to juggle though, because, all right, so like you saying, I'm in the house with my pops. He's so big on positive. He's stuck, like he's stuck on that. Like, he made that, like, I mean, that's him been like want to hear nothing negative. Like, he block it all out. Like, but I'm young, like I'm outside. I got friends, like I got real real friends, like, so it's just kind of a little.
Yeah, it was hard to find that balance. I'm hearing that it was hard to find that balance, right? So, but Harry, you already lived, right? You what, 25 at this point, you saying?
Yeah.
You lived to a certain point. You knew what it was to go through negative. You knew what it was to go through positive. That's why you were so bent on being positive, and like you knew the direction you wanted to go in for the better for you two. But you forcing the positivity on Maj, how did that feel for you?
Well, I get a little broken up talking about it, because I know how it is out there.
Right.
And I just wanted better for him. So if it took me to force it, that's what I had to do.
Right.
I didn't care, because he was a kid. Right. So, and you're my son. So I'm gonna force positive in you, because I know what's out there is nothing but negative. Right. And as I got older, I think I realized I was hurting him as he got older.
Right. Right. And I see this, it's a tough subject to think about, right? And it's tough for us men to think back and look at it, where we feel like we could have went wrong, right? And how things could have, went a different way, right? For us, I say, I'm a parent as well, right? My daughter is older, she's 22 now, but for us as parents, our first line is protection, right? And sometimes I feel like we protect to a fault. You understand what that's saying? Like, we protect too much because we don't want our kids to go through what we've gone through, right? But that's what built character in us, right? So, Maj, tell me a little bit how that protect to a fault caused you to kind of, rebel in a way, right? Go against what he was trying to tell you to do.
It was like, all right, so, people like parents, older people in general, always say like what they went through it, so they don't want like you to relive it and stuff. Right. But all right, like you gotta think, I get that y'all went through it, but it's like stuff going. It's like kind of like the same thing. Like I'm going through some stuff, probably some stuff worse. Like I'm not saying this to like that because I didn't like see you as coming up, but like it's like real life going on. So it's like you can't really like. It's like you can't really be trying to like force something if I'm still here. Like you gotta like. I mean, the most you could do while I'm young, if you want to like really get away from it, is just really move me away from it. Like, I like still being there and being young is kind of like hard. Like,
right. Because it sounds like you're saying this is where I'm at. This is where I'm growing up in. Well, we know picking up and moving out is not always an option, right? So we got to make the best of our environments there, right? So with that being said. Looking back, what would have you would like to be done different when you think about it, right? If you could say, if you were this age back then, you would say, Dad, could you do this way? What would that be? How could he have told you things differently so you can grasp them differently or understand it differently?
I mean, like instead of just like forcing. Like what's for you on me, you could like hear me out and like kind of like like get an understanding where my head at like to kind of sort of like
okay, I get it, like being more open, right, being more open instead of saying my way or the highway, right? If it's not my way, we can't go, right? How you feel about that?
So when he says it's not my way or the highway, I understand. I was so stuck, and I'm still to this day. Like people got to understand where I was coming from raising him. Like before this person that we are watching today, I had to reboot myself of the old way of thinking because it was like ancestry of heartbreaks and ancestry of drugs. So what I had to do for 3 years, I had to like put myself in a solitary of only thinking positive for 3 years. I walked around for 3 years with headphones with nothing but positivity, so I can like rebuild the way that I thought was life, mentally. So I didn't want to hear nothing he had to say if it wasn't positive. And maybe as a parent back then, I didn't understand that I was shying him away from him being who he want to be and tell me and express things because I didn't want to hear positive because I was so I didn't want to hear negative because I was so focused on the positive.
Positive stuff, yeah. It makes sense, right? And that's how I say us as parents or adults, whether it's a teacher or mentor, sometimes we work from that protective layer and we work to protect, but in reality, it's a kind of a hurtful thing, right? With my daughter, I would be like a warm demander, right? At a certain point, the teachings, you have to trust in your own teachings for them to snap back in it. And then at a certain point, like right now, as she's older, it's all about guidance now, right? And to hope that your teachings have set in with them and they're in a autopilot mode where they know right from wrong. All right, so Maj, being that your father was this positive person and always being positive or always forcing a positive on you, do you feel like that made you negative in any way or to do negative things?
Like, I don't feel like that made me like negative. I ain't gonna say it made me negative. Like, it felt like I had to do negative things, but I ain't gonna lie. It might have played a little part, but I ain't gonna stick too much to that. But it might have played a little part, but still though, I'm always growing. At the end of the day, look what I was around, what I was used to. I ain't gonna lie. Me and my household, and then I'm with my friends, and I'm in some of their households. Like it was different. Like I ain't gonna lie, it was different. Like some of my friends they young as hell, but they look a grown man though at the same time, and I'm like. I ain't really know nothing. That's because I had my people. I ain't really know certain stuff like that.
So they had to grow up a little bit faster than you.
Yeah.
Okay. But because you had this certain layers, you had your father at home, molding you to remain in that kid frame, right? Because he provided that space for you to do so, right? And that's what we don't focus on a lot, right? So I know you got some stories. So share a story about an episode where you may have made a negative decision.
Oh, it was like this one time. Well, along with my brother though, passed away. Hey, that's my best friend. Like,
Okay.
My best friend. Hey, along with my brother though, but he. So we had went to go. We had went to go get some dirt bikes real quick. Like,
Okay.
feel me? Like, hey, whatever. They had found out somebody's little dirt bike. Somebody posted where they was at. We knew the location. Like, yeah, like
dropped it low. You said it's on.
So we pull up right now. We go over there. Hey, get over there now. Hey, now it's time. Like we get in the garage, whatever. Hey, we taking them. And now we trying to run away. We ain't trying to start them like right outside the house.
Right.
Like, you feel me? Hey, now we running away. As we running away with them, we running up the hill, all that. They coming out the house. They chasing us now, all tight. So now, hey, we running down the street with them. We trying to jump on them, started, all that. Like, 2 of them not starting. Mine definitely wasn't starting. I ain't even know how to ride like that, though. I ain't gonna lie. I was just like us. Like, my boys always had the bikes, and I did always make me jump on them. So I'm like, I ain't gonna lie. I want a bike. Like, hey, I try to jump on it. Hey, what it start? Next thing you know, my boy Jim, what it start? Hey, now, you know how I get from here. They chasing us.
You dropped the bike?
Drop the bike. Start taking off.
Yeah.
Hey, I had to split up. Hey.
Even they got the bikes back, they still was chasing us?
They still was on that. Hey, had to split up. Hey, had to get spooky real quick.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, it was getting caught.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to get arrested like around the corner. And it was around the corner in front of the police station.
Oh, man. Dang. So, from split to how long was it before you made this decision and next thing you know, police in your face? And you on a chase and police in your face now, man.
That was quick.
It happened quick.
Yeah, too quick.
Before you know it, right?
Too quick. Remember they pulling up.
Yeah.
They describing the outfit. I'm looking at they talk about my outfit. I'm like, oh my, come on.
Yeah. At any point in that, real quick, sorry to cut you off. Any point in that time between them running out and chasing you and police in your face, do you think about your dad's influence or hear in the back of your mind something your dad always told you not to do?
Yeah, I'm like, I ain't gonna lie, after that was my first time too getting caught.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, my people, they gonna be mad.
They're gonna be pissed, right?
Yeah, they gonna be mad.
What you had from that?
Man, when I got the call, I gotta go pick up my son from Trumbull Police Station. I was like, come on, man. Like, but this was the stage where I realized the rebelliousness of who he want to be is coming out.
Right.
So that was the stage where I felt like the rebellion started. Like, and I remember going to the police station and looking in the bullpen, and he like looking at me with a damn smile.
Right.
It ain't funny.
It ain't funny. Not this
like,
funny
you know what I
this
mean?
point. Right.
It's really not funny because, bro, you represent me. I represent positivity, but I gotta come bail you out of jail or come sign you out because you was a minor. Right. But that's when the table started turning.
Right. So, you got him. You see him you see his face in the bullpen. All this is going through your mind. You got this image in your mind. You know people can't wait to report Harry Bell's son is in trouble, right? What was that conversation like on the ride home, man?
I was upset because, like I said, there was other things that took place that I started to see the rebelliousness coming out of him. Yeah. You know, that was that was just like
that was the peak of it.
That was
at this point,
That
was the peak of it.
It was the peak of it. So I think we was already arguing or beefing regarding an act that he did. But that's when I really started to see, you know, like a different side of him. Yeah. You know, one thing about him, like, you know, one thing I could say about him, like, we would get into our little spars. Yeah. But he would never take it to a level where, like, you know, that I couldn't believe.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean?
I get it, yeah.
Like he always, even to this day, like, you know,
It's within
he'll
the-
snap,
yeah.
but don't snap because something, I don't know what go through his head, but he learned how to like brace himself on certain situations.
You got to give yourself a little bit credit for that, right? And his upbringing and stuff like that, because those things resonate. Believe it or not, despite actions, those things still resonate in one's mind when they do, make a bad decision, right? That ride home for you, what was going through your mind after he picked you up?
I'm just like,
You wanted to go to a party. Remember?
Right.
'Cause I called the cops on you after that. Because remember you wanted to leave to go to a party with Kathy too after you got arrested and I said you was on punishment and I called the cops and I put you on your ass until the cops came and they told me yo, that I couldn't be doing that. Yeah.
So tell me what happened with that, man. Tell me a little bit about that. So at this point, you riding home, you in trouble. He just picked you up from Trumbull Police Station, but in your head, you thinking about I want to go to the party. Like I'm good. You said I'm good. I'm out.
He laughing. He ain't nothing.
Wow. And then your father telling you on punishment, you're not going nowhere. Now you hard. Now you done got jammed up.
Cause I think that's mighty really, really big. Cause I ain't gonna lie, like the thing with my dad though, like when I was coming up. So my mom, she was the one like she not going. Like my mom, she was more like strict. Like she was like she really like she's the one that's gonna really like. So my dad, he never really was like that. He would like do it for my mom real quick, like make it like seem like that for my mom, right? And then he gotta come upstairs later. Yo, like, I'm gonna take you shopping. Like, you go like come like little stuff like that. So I think I was in my head like after that, I didn't think I was too crazy though.
So you thought you was
dad,
good.
Yeah,
You just like, oh, I'm straight. It's my dad.
Yeah, like,
but now he's serious.
You know,
like,
I probably got wild explanation. He asked me why. They start asking why. I probably got some wild something to say for him. So I'm like, I wasn't really thinking about it too.
Right. So that was a little episode for y'all, and that was the first major joint for you. You think?
That
episode.
That episode was crazy because, you know, I look at the system, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, and I think that's part of the reason why I go so hard with youth because of what I experienced with him.
Okay.
But I don't, back then there was no preventative programs.
Right.
Like, you know, like, and I realized something back then. Back to remember for when we was going at it because you wanted to go to the party, right? Mm-hmm. You was like mushing your way out, trying to mush your way out the door, and I grabbed you, and I did a CPI move because I worked for the school system, and we get trained. I did a CPI move on him, laid him on the floor, and told my lady, his mother, call the cops. The cops come, and the cops said, "You lucky you missed the bell because we can arrest you. You gotta let him go. If he want to leave, let him leave."
Wow.
They said we can't do nothing until he get himself arrested, and then we could take part on disciplinary actions.
Wow. So at that
he
point,
heard him.
And he heard him.
He heard him.
And that's all he needed. That's all he needed to know, right? So at that point for you, you got a couple of things. I'm gonna assume you got a couple of things going through your head. You got the fact that I'm this positive figure, right? My son gets arrested. How I'm going to explain this or what it's going to look like, right? And also, you have the battle of, or I'm going to assume, I want you to tell me, damn, I'm losing grip. I'm losing grip on my kid. What am I going to do? How I'm going to keep this father thing up?
You know, I started losing my grip because back then, you know, young people was dying a lot faster than today. Like at that time, like he done already lost 2 friends and things of that nature, you know. And I'm like,
and what age is this?
How old was you when you lost 2 friends?
First I was like 16, 17.
16, yeah.
17,
yeah.
17.
And, you know, he was like on a mission.
Yeah.
Like, I swear to you, like, I seen like a whole change in this dude. And and I felt like I couldn't do nothing.
Right.
And what's so crazy is being a parent. You have to learn how to love and deal with the hurt with the love. And I felt that I had a mission. Like, my mission, first priority is my son.
Right.
But if my son not grasping to what my mission is,
Right.
I could love him, but I got to try to help someone else, but still be a father to him.
Right.
So that part, I think he started really rebelling because I pushed back.
That's good. There's some insight there, right? Because Maj, I heard, there was conversation before, and I heard you mention, my pops cared more about these kids than me. Tell me a little bit about that feeling, and how that felt. How he could be so positive and still carry on with everyone else, but you felt he wasn't there for you.
I'm gonna put it like I wouldn't say like, well, you kind of put it that way, but I ain't gonna say like he pushed me away though. Like he like pushed me away, but I mean like he definitely stopped. Like it wasn't like full focus. Like you feel me? Like now it wasn't to the point like he was there, but it wasn't like to that extent. Like it wasn't like too much real conversation, like about like real life stuff, like what's really going on. It wasn't like too seeing really where my head at or too really but I realized like that was because though, like he was so like focused, like trying to like get right and grind, for me, for the fam. Like he was trying to do it, like he was still in grind, he was in mode right there, trying to do what he had to do. So it was like he kind of had to do that because that's how he trained himself. That's what he better at.
Right.
He locked in.
But I had to
focus up.
But I had to backtrack a little bit because this dude got caught with 2 guns back to back. So I had to like backtrack. I'm like, damn, I'm gonna lose this nigga, my son. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
And who is he not to end up like his 2 friends?
Right.
It's like, you know what I mean? So I had to like disturb my piece of positivity to try to will him back in. But people don't understand, parents, if you lose your peace, you can lose yourself and your whole house crumble. And I got more kids.
Right. So it seems there was a battle with you and self too, right? So much that you were trying to prevent him from, losing him to the streets. You had to make a decision in that. Like, hold on, let me pull back because I'm out here on the wire, losing my mind, but I have to maintain everything else for the household that's there.
I couldn't sleep.
Couldn't sleep at night.
Couldn't
sleep.
I work for Street Safe.
Okay.
There was times that I have to get up in the morning, like 3 in the morning, and go to the hospital. You know the first thing I'm doing? I'm checking this dude's room.
To see
because
if he's there. I don't know if he's there. Or if I'm going to see him in the hospital.
One day I go to the hospital and he's not in the room. I go in one emergency room. His friend got grazed in the head. And they like his other friend in the other room.
Right.
I ran over there.
You like, where he at?
I thought it was the covered back. Luckily, it wasn't him. It was a young lady who was shot in the head, grazed, but her hairpiece kind of blocked the bullet with the glass.
Wow. So hearing that, and hearing those times, like, what do you think of that? Like, what do you think of that? Dad waking up, going to look to see, he going to respond to emergency, but let me just check on my son and make sure he good, and you're not even there.
I mean, that like it mean a lot. Like that's a wild feeling. Like that says a lot because it's like for him even having to do it in general, but then and it's like how it's going. I'm around. I'll be out around in the mix and stuff. It's just that's crazy.
To even think, right? And again, I reference our conversations prior to this, right? You're going to be a father, right? Yeah. So, congrats to that, right? Congrats to that. Let's give a round of applause, right?
I'm gonna be a grandfather.
You're gonna be a grandfather, right? What's that? At your age, you're gonna be a grandfather, right? So put yourself in his shoes. You wake up, you're gonna respond, and your kid is not there, man, in the bed. And you're gonna respond to tragedy, and it's like, what? What's your thoughts?
I ain't gonna lie, I lose it. Like, I lose my mind. I don't even know what I really wouldn't know what I do. I know I lose it though. I know that gotta be like a wild. That's crazy. It's a wild feeling.
So it's
a wild feeling.
It's a wild feeling in itself, right? And these are the things that, back then he tried to, get you to understand. But now you're being older, you're coming into fatherhood, man, and you're gonna think twice about these things. I'm sure the things you did is gonna play back in your head, and you're gonna be like, "Dang, this is how my father felt." You know what I'm saying?
But in general, like I my experience with my son, I wouldn't take it back, because I believe it helped me be able to do what I love and raise my son in the process.
In the process, right? It gave you that touch of reality, right? Remember those times you said in creating the book and things, or creating the pictures, that you escaped into the Hawaii or on an island, right, where you found your peace, right? But then you had to come back to reality, right? So Color of Positive Thought did that for you, allowed you to escape and be that positive figure. But then when you got home, you met reality in a way of, this is my job here, home as well, right? So juggling those two things was, I'm sure, a difficult thing at times for you.
Yeah, because fatherhood is not like basketball with a playbook. Right. I think you learn by each kid you have. Right.
Definitely, because each kid is different, man. Each kid is different. There's no playbook for being a parent too. That is the most on-job training that you can go through, right? Nobody knows it all, and nobody knows what to expect when it comes to parenting, right? Mm-hmm. You think your kid is one way, and it happens, right? Things happen. So, our thing is to bounce back from it, shape it in a way that we can move forward. I tell people all the time, you've made it through your worst times in life already. If you think about it, that thing that you thought was going to defeat you, you made it through, you made it past it, right? How do we continue to make it through, right? You got to find those tools and those things to continue to make it through, right? And I think you found that niche, right? And through A Color of Positive Thought, through the experience of your son, right? It wasn't, there's no cookie cutter target, or there's no cookie cutter path to this greatness that you created, right? And through experience, it makes the best, right?
What's so crazy is we're so different, right, but we so alike. Mm-hmm. This kid has a creative mind. Sometimes he just don't know how to put it together. Right. But I realized with him today and kids today, they got a lot on their mind that sometimes they don't know how to breathe and put it down.
Right. They don't know how to get it out there, right? So, a question for you: how does it sound when we're having this conversation? Like, what are your thoughts? Like, hearing that, I may have not known how to express myself when I was younger. Like, would you have done things differently as far as expressing yourself? Like, do you feel like your dad gave you that space to do so?
I mean, I wouldn't say too much in the beginning. It had to kind of grow on me. It grew on me.
Yeah, because I think I had to accept you being you of the path that you chose, because I couldn't accept it.
But I feel like that was always my problem too, though, because one of my biggest problems was I always used to feel like anyway, I was a disappointment. I kind of threw you. I kind of made you because it didn't go. too much how you want it. But then, like you just said too, though, I realized I am like you, bro. It might not be honest. I don't do the same thing you do, but I definitely got a lot. Like I'm like you, like in a lot of ways. Like,
Yeah, and that's good. And that's probably, I don't know if that is the first time you really expressing that. You feeling like a failure or a disappointment, I should say, is the word that you use because of his image and the positive thing that he put out. That pressure of having to live up to that was difficult for you.
like, it was because like I ain't gonna lie, like I don't really get I don't get when people try too much to like because like of who my dad is, they try to make like me or like my stuff or like too much on him. Like I get it, like who he is. Like I gotta understand, but I had to realize that like obviously like everything I do, whatever is gonna like fall on him at the end of the day. Like basically like I gotta like keep carrying the last name. I gotta like, but it's like and you can't. Everybody can't just look at it like because I do what I do and he do that. It's like wrong or he did wrong, something wrong. Or like it's not like that. I'm my own person at the end of the day.
But I remember we used to always bump heads when we used to argue, be like, I'm not like you, Dad. Like, but I never wanted you to be like me. I wanted you to be better than me. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can never be like me because I think my passion comes from the way I grew up and we grew up different. And that's where I went wrong. I wanted to shy you from my childhood, but you would never have my childhood because you don't got my mother and father. And I was trying to like nest you from that. And I realized later on in life that I had to let you have your own mother and father experience and not try to live mine through you.
Those are some valid points, right? And a real key valid point is that he didn't have the mother and father that you had, right? You were reliving that trauma, right? And that stuff was coming out of you, and you were protecting him from nothing, but pushing him towards what you didn't want him to go towards.
I didn't realize that, though. Well, right? I didn't realize that, but I didn't realize, me being. I think when I got older, I started realizing that. And I remember I used to say, like, did me being so positive create you to go negative? And I used to say that back in the day, like, and you must be like, don't put that on yourself, Harry. Right. And I used to be like questioning my positivity, like,
Yeah, it resonates and it's definitely something that people could look into further, right? Because every parent says that same cliche saying, I don't want you to grow up like I did. But are they really? You know what I'm saying? We have that fresh start and we want to shape, but we have to shape in a way that we're guiding them. We have to allow them to make their own mistakes. That's the only way they can learn and the only way they can have their own experience, right? Because we always tell somebody, yo, don't touch that fire, it's hot. But they ain't gonna learn until they really touch the fire, right? Yeah. And we just hope that the mistake isn't a grave mistake that they can't come back from.
My thing is too is that I think I come to the agreement that he has grown, but he's always gonna be my baby boy, but he's right. 21, he got his own life. And no matter how much growth I see, he's still gonna fall. Yeah. But I want him to understand you got to learn to catch yourself, but understand I'm going to be there to try to soften the fall. Right.
How that sound to you, though? Like, how's that sound? Like, he's allowing you to fall, but not straight on your face. You know what I'm saying? He's going to let you scrape your knee, but you ain't going to need stitches on your forehead.
He the support.
The support, right? The support. We know that, right? And as you get older, you can see the mistakes, the things you made, and it's never too late to always, make the right decision or corrective decisions. But we know as adults, because we're all adults in the room now, right? As adults, it's a constant developing thing, right? You're never going to stop learning. You're never going to stop failing, but you always got to make that conscious effort to do the right thing.
But I want you to know that, I'm proud of you. Even that you may not have turned out the way that I wanted you to turn out, but you're still turning out.
Yeah, I'm about to say,
you still turning out. You know what I mean? And, I remember in the Bible, the prodigal son came back. Mm-hmm. So no matter if you get in trouble tomorrow, hope you don't, you still got time to be what I know who you are. Great. You come from greatness. Your root is greatness.
That's a fact. My problem be though, I be making it seem like that's on a time limit. Like that be my problem. Like I be so stressing out about it. Like it's a time limit. Forget. Like I'm really just young still. Like, it's still like way more to go.
Yo, definitely, man. We've all done it. I'm sorry, I don't know how much time we got, but I'm sure we could talk forever and ever. But we all have put that pressure on ourselves. Even at my age now, I'm like, damn, I'm running out of time. But I read something that we don't. The grateful times or the real good times is at the age of 40, right? Because we did what we did, we lived what we lived, we made our mistakes. Now is our prime time where we know the direction we want to be in. We got the average of living is about 40 more years, right? So think about it. In that 40 years of us living, screw ups or whatever, we got at least another 40 to write it. 40 years is a long time, bro.
I look at it, Kev, as like teaching them how to ride a bike, right? Mm-hmm. And I taught you how to ride a bike, right? Oh, you taught yourself? Okay. So, but I use the riding bike analogy. Yeah. I taught you how to drive, right? Remember the video, bro? After you were still in my car. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I use the teacher kid bike analogy regarding life, like when you a parent and you teaching your kid how to ride the bike, they got the training wheels. You take the training wheels off. Once you take the training wheels off, you holding the seat and you whispering in their ear, don't stay straight. You got this. Right. I just hope as he grows and live on, he hear them whispers, right, that I put in him. Yeah,
for sure. He's definitely going to hear those whispers. He's definitely going to hear those lessons and all those things, all them long talks that he was looking out the other window saying, whatever, Dad. And all those things are going to come back, man. And more now than ever because he's moving into that, right? He's moving into that fatherhood. He's getting ready to have his own talks, believe it or not. So, thank you, man. Thank you for being you.
Thank you.
Thank you for setting forth and putting that thought process in him, right? Because it's there. It's just going to come out how he develops it. And thank you for being there because we know how we come up is that father role is important.
So,
right? Thank you, man. Maj. Yep.
I love you, son. And the craziest thing is that, I called him Foot because I was a big Footloose fan. And back when he was little, this dude had like the crazy legs. That dude used to get dancing behind him. Like to call him Footloose.
Oh, okay.
So for short, it was just Foot. Okay. So the Foot come from when he was a kid. That dude could dance his ass off. Yeah. So I called him Footloose, but short Foot. Okay.
No, man. Yeah. All right, man. Check y'all out, man. Yeah. This was the first episode, Color of Positive Thought podcast. First episode, like father, like son. I hope you guys got some great insight. Stay tuned for the next episode. Man.
Yes, sir. Peace. It's your boy, Mr. Color of Positive Thought.